And we are live.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our December issue of the Victor Town Hall. I'm Tim Terranova, the proud superintendent of the Victor Central School District, and joining me are some amazing high school students. We have a couple members of the student council with us, and I'm going to ask them some questions around the amazing food drive that they led, district-wide food drive this past few weeks. And then we have some NYSSMA Conference All-Star musicians. We've had an incredible group of musicians. We always have great musicians, but this year is probably just an amazing year in terms of musicianship, if I said that right. And so we're going to talk to a few of them as well. So I want to definitely highlight both groups. And we have one student who actually crosses both between the musicians and the student government. So I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves. Jillian, go ahead.
My name is Jillian Doyle, and I'm a senior at Victor High School.
Sarah, go ahead.
My name is Sarah, and I'm a senior.
Ben.
My name is Ben, and I'm a junior.
And then let's see, Sabrina.
My name's Sabrina Bala, and I'm a senior.
And last but certainly not least, Tippett.
My name is Tippett Rhinson, and I'm a senior.
So we got a bunch of seniors and a junior. So Tippett, actually, I'm going to turn to you and Jillian because both of you participate in the student council. Can you just talk a little bit about student council and this food drive that I think fed meals to over 110 families in our community?
Yes, so the food drive it's something that we do every year. And this year, in order to drive up the donations at the high school, we had a system of raffles and prizes. Like 1 week, I believe the prize was to be in Mr. Siesto's parking spot, which
That's
I
always a
think
good one.
That's like offer a good incentive for people to that's the real spirit. That's the real point of the holiday is to give. And I'm really glad that the student council was able to drive up all of these donations. If anybody's seen the pictures of all of the food that was donated, it's a lot of food. We got it was a quite a successful year this year, and especially because we also partnered with local businesses in the area as well to really kind of bring this out to the community and then kind of get something back in return for everybody.
Yeah, I think it was what 110 families.
Yeah, around 110, 109, yes.
And then Jillian, what was your involvement with student council in this whole amazing food drive?
Yeah, so throughout this month when it's been going on, all the student council members have, been posting it on our social medias and helping to like hype people up and remind people to bring stuff in. And then today at school during first and second period, we were down there sorting. So I was down there for first and second period. In first period, I was sorting all the foods into different like sections of what kind of food they were. And then during second period, we would put those the foods into different boxes to so we had all the boxes lined up on a huge table, and we had a ton of student council members show up to help, which was really nice.
Yeah, I saw that. That was amazing. Jillian, talk about a little bit about your student leadership. How long have you been in, I guess, what I'd call student leadership, whether it was student council or other areas, and what kind of got you interested in it?
Yeah, so I've been in student council since the junior high, actually, mostly just like as a representative to help, plan school events like dances and make those like the best that we can to have a bunch of people show up. And then in high school last year, I was the student engagement officer. So I would take all the pictures for the social media platforms and post those and make sure that we were printing flyers about all these different things. And then this year I decided to run for vice president of executive council, which kind of oversees the whole student council as a whole. Tippett's the president and I'm the vice president, and so we've the food drive is one of the main things that we do as executive council this year because it involves all the grades in the school.
Oh, that's amazing, Jillian. And Tippett, actually either one of you, but we'll start with Tippett. What do you think are the benefits? Because you're involved heavily in student leadership. What's the benefits of being involved in these types of leadership organizations?
So one of the main benefits I would say is getting used to like speaking in front of a crowd. So as the president of executive council, I'm like delivering the agenda for each meeting. I'm bringing it out to the whole council, sharing our ideas, like going through what we need to plan. And individual members of student council actually often chime in with their ideas and have to share them in front of um, a wide variety of people who might agree or disagree. And it's good practice for the real world when a lot of situations are like that.
Jillian, do you want to add anything to that? Like, what do you see as some of the benefits of your leadership and just the experiences that you're having?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with everything that Tippett said. And I would also add that I just think it's really nice to be able to be involved in planning some of these things. So Victor is so lucky to have so many wonderful events that we have every year. We have a bunch of dances. We do things such as food drives to get both the school and the community involved. And it's really nice to be able to plan these things that help with not only the high school students in our school, but also have a bigger impact on the community as a whole.
How did you get it to be? Because this is truly a district-wide food drive, not just a high school. How did you get it? Again, either one of you can talk. How did you get it to be a district-wide versus just a high school donation?
So um, before we came into our office, it's always been district wide. Um, Usually we've just had boxes at, the intermediate school and the junior high and, all of the schools on campus. So it's pretty much always been a district-wide thing.
Okay.
So we can bring it past the high school and really maximize the amount of donations we can get.
It really truly is a community-wide event. And I think some of the ideas you guys implemented this year too, to get more support and more food and then connecting with the businesses, I think that really made a huge difference. And so for those of you that are watching, if you go on our Facebook page or any of the social media sites, you're going to see great examples of the amount of food that was raised for our community. And a huge thank you to Jillian and Tippett for their leadership of the student council and the work they're doing in the executive council. Stick around, Tippett, because we still have a little bit. I'm going to talk to some of the other kids, but we'll come back to you towards the last 5 minutes. Is that okay? Jillian and Tippett, by the way, is an amazing performer. I'll call it singer performer, which is another example of how you've been able to speak in public. Because I don't know if there's a better way to do it than in performing arts. And you're a great. You're going to be in the spring musical?
Yes, I auditioned. Me and Jill both auditioned.
All right, good.
So
You guys find out
we're
yet?
gonna find out on Friday.
All right. Well, good luck with that. Both of you.
Thank you.
Jillian, talk a little bit about, and then I'm going to get to the others. Talk a little bit about the NYSSMA Conference All-State and what that entails, because that's a significant accomplishment. And what did you
Yeah.
actually do?
So NYSSMA Conference All-State is basically, if you don't know what it is, it's a huge venue where there's around 200 singers or instrumentalists in an ensemble from all over different high schools across the entire state. And I actually went last year as a vocalist, and it was such an amazing experience. I was able to meet so many people, and it's really nice that it's right near us in Rochester, so it's not too big of a change in scene. And then this year I was an alternate as well.
And you're singing. Your specialty is singing, obviously.
Yeah.
And then Sabrina, I know you've been out there in the background. Talk a little, and I want you all to brag a little bit because you wouldn't be on here if you didn't accomplish this amazing stuff. So talk a little bit about your accomplishments, what your specialty is in NYSSMA.
Yeah, sure. So I've been playing flute since fourth grade, and I started piccolo in around seventh grade, and that's what I was picked as an alternate for Conference All-State for was piccolo, and I just really love playing it, and all the music opportunities at Victor are so wonderful, and I would not have been able to get to where I am as a musician without them. And although I was an alternate, so I wasn't actually able to attend the Conference All-State Festival, I was the piccolo for the area All-State Orchestra, which is a similar idea but on a smaller scale. It's only an area of the state, but it's still a really cool and really
And you
amazing
did, yeah,
opportunity.
that's a huge accomplishment. How long have you been playing the piccolo again?
Um,
You played the
five
flute and
years,
the
I think.
piccolo. And before that, you played the flute.
Yeah, I still play flute as well. I just
Now you
picked
play
up
the
piccolo
flute,
in
and are they
addition.
similar?
Yeah, flute is kind of just like a bigger version of piccolo, and it's piccolo sounds a lot higher, but playing them is pretty similar.
What caused you to switch? Like, what'd you want to switch for?
I can't really give you a definitive answer. I just saw a piccolo and was like, oh, lots of people play flute, but not a lot of people play piccolo. Let's try this one.
That's awesome. Are you gonna keep playing when you get older?
Absolutely. I'm planning to minor in flute performance in college, and I'd love to keep music with me for the rest of my life in some way.
Should. That's great. That's fantastic, Sabrina. Ben, you're the junior among us. Talk about your accomplishments with music.
Yeah, I was at the area All-State Festival as well. That's always a lot of fun because it's a lot of musicians and we're all, obviously we all have the same interests. Um, I'm also a part of RPYO, which is another great organization. It's Rochester Philharmonic Youth Orchestra, and we get to do a ton of great performances with RPO musicians. Like Sabrina said, obviously our music program is great, and I wouldn't be where I am today without Mrs. Judge and all of the music staff.
What instrument do you play?
I play the violin
You play the violin. Well, that's a great. And then, so how long you been playing the violin?
about 12 years.
So you started with the Suzuki Strings program here?
I actually started at another school, another music school, the Knack School of Music,
Oh,
way
wow.
back when.
And then well, you started playing ensembles here, what, in fourth grade?
Yeah, around there, fourth, fifth grade.
Amazing, Ben. What made you, I guess, fall in love with the violin?
Well, I've been doing it since I was 4, so it's kind of like all I've ever known, but it's, I don't know, it's always just been my passion.
Now we got another violin player on this. Did you know that?
Yes.
Yeah, Sarah, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Sarah, I want you to brag a little bit. You're a senior. Talk a
Yes.
little bit about your musicianship.
Sure. So I've been playing the violin since I was in second grade. Um, Recently, a couple weeks ago, I went to Conference All State for the symphony orchestra. So that was an amazing experience. I'm also in the Hudson Youth Symphony Orchestra, which has been really fun. And all the ensembles at school have been amazing as well.
And you won some honors 2 years in a row, right? What were those?
Yeah, I went to Conference All State last year as well.
Which is a great accomplishment. So talk a little bit about what you most enjoy about playing the violin and throughout your life.
Um, I really like the community that it brings. I think it's amazing to be able to share something like music with so many different people. Um, and I think it's just a great way to bring joy, especially around the holiday season.
And I've watched all of you play, but I've watched you play a lot because you're a senior and you really just take that violin and make it part of yourself. You just do an amazing job. It's kind of like a way to communicate to people, isn't it?
For sure.
Yeah. And you had a solo on, what is it, Monday at the big concert?
Yeah,
How was that? Playing with, you played with the chorus, right?
I did.
Yeah. Well, that was an amazing experience. So, what I kind of similar question, but what got you started in music?
Um, Honestly, I started when I was in second grade, and I really wanted to play the guitar, but that wasn't an option, so I chose the violin instead, and I've kind of just stuck with it since then.
Did you pick up the guitar?
No.
All right, what's any of you can tell, any of the musicians, and it can speak to this. What's the hardest, most challenging thing, in terms of being a phenomenal musician? Like, what's the hardest part about it? Anybody could, and that includes obviously singing too. Who wants to-
I'd say for me, it's the mental stress of it because when you're performing at such a high level, it definitely gets to you a little bit. And you're like, oh my goodness, what if I mess up? Especially when you're auditioning for these huge ensembles. I remember my last year, I auditioned on flute and piccolo, so I had two separate auditions. And these pieces of music are really hard. You're playing for 10, 15 minutes straight. And it's just so much thinking, so much work that you're really tired at the end of it. Like everyone sees someone playing and you're like, oh, that's beautiful. And it is, but it's a lot of work, even when you've worked for years and years to get to the point of where you are.
Yeah,
What-
I would definitely agree with that. For me, I think the hardest part is that I'm always like so worried that I'm gonna forget the words of what I'm singing. Because when I'm in like a big choir, we usually don't use sheet music. So I'm always worried I'm gonna mess up the words. And then I do a lot of singing in other languages, like Italian. So then that just adds another layer of, messing up the words as well.
You sing in Italian?
Yeah, I sing a lot of operas.
Can you speak Italian?
No, I cannot.
But as soon as you sing, you can pronounce all that's amazing. Tippett, do you sing opera in Italian?
Um,
You ever done it?
I will sometimes inquire. We have like lesson songs, and they can be in Italian. So I've sang Italian like that. It's very fun to sing in Italian.
Tippett, what's your advice about being a performer and kind of going back to what you said at the beginning, which is public speaking, although it's a more advanced form of public speaking. Like, what's your advice for people who maybe are thinking about doing it but are a little nervous about doing some of the stuff that
Um,
you're doing?
I would say like my main piece of advice would be don't care what anybody thinks of you while you're speaking. Just like just don't think about it at all. Understand that in the long term, nobody will remember like a small mistake that you made. Nobody will remember like if you embarrass yourself. That doesn't matter, and you shouldn't let it get to you. And you need to just go persevere right through it.
Who's the mean guy you played last year?
Last year,
Oh,
I was the Archdeacon of Notre Dame. I was
yeah.
Dom Claude Frollo.
Is that the nastiest character you've ever played?
Yeah.
Yeah. You were
Other than
great.
the guy who was responsible for the Titanic crashing. He
You
was pretty
were.
evil.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were the guy who designed the boat,
I
right?
was the guy who paid for the boat.
Paid for the boat. Okay,
Yes.
that's right. You weren't the captain though.
No.
All right. Well, you played good evil people. I like that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Anybody else want to talk about the musicianship and maybe the biggest challenge around it that didn't get a chance to? All right. It must be nobody has other challenges. Wait a minute, Ben, I'm going to ask you a question. You ready? You've been
Sure.
playing the instrument for like, I don't know, since you were 4 or 5. How hard is it to practice consistently without missing, like how to stay regimented and be able to practice without a lot of people telling you to over 12 years?
At first it's pretty difficult to stay disciplined and, practice every day, but after a couple years, it just becomes a part of like your daily routine. So you don't really even think about needing to practice. It's kind of just what you do.
And so it kind of just becomes ingrained in you.
Yeah.
How many hours a week do you think you practice the violin?
A week?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, depending on when I'm performing, it can be upwards of like 20 hours.
That's a lot of hours.
Yeah.
You're also avidly involved. I don't even know if that's a right word, but you're heavily involved in robotics, right?
Yes, I am.
Talk just for a second about robotics and what it means to you and what you guys are doing out there right now.
I mean, yeah, robotics is a great program for anyone who wants to or is even thinking about doing anything in STEM. It does a really good job of involving, you know, a large group of students in one project, and it's a lot of fun.
How long you been involved in that?
Um, since I was a freshman, so this will be my third year in robotics.
That's great. All right, so I've kept you on a while, all of you. Last question is, and actually, we'll just kind of go down the list. Let's start with Jillian. Jillian, you're a senior. You've been an amazing senior, just like the rest of the group on this particular Facebook Live. What are your plans for next year? And then how about giving a shout out to somebody from Victor? Could be somebody in the high school, could be somebody from your younger years that has made a huge difference in your life.
Yeah, next year in college, I'm majoring in music education. So I'll probably be doing general music, and I'm aiming for the age ranges of around like our primary school, so around second and third grade. So I'm super excited for that. And then someone at Victor who's had a huge impact on my life is Mrs. Judge. I've been with her since freshman year. She's been the orchestra teacher there. And she's just one of those amazing people who she's an incredible teacher. And she's also just amazing with everyone she interacts with. Like, you always leave a conversation feeling like valued by her, and that it's just so nice that we have amazing faculty like her able to teach us every day.
So you want to be a teacher, a music
Yes.
teacher. That is
Yes.
so cool. Where are you going to school? You
I'm
figured
not
out yet?
sure yet. I'm still auditioning.
Oh, that's right. You have to audition for all that, don't you?
Yeah.
All right, you're keeping your head up, right? Don't put too much pressure on yourself. You're going to be a phenomenal, if that is obviously sometimes people have different dreams and change their mind. That's normal too. But if you don't and you continue to pursue that dream, you're going to be fantastic. And
Thank you very much.
I hope you stay, if you're staying in the area, I hope you consider us a few years from now.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
Okay, great job. Sarah, what are your plans next year and who do you want to shout out?
So I'm either going to major in music education or math, depending on where I get in. And I would like to also shout out to Mrs. Judge because she has been absolutely amazing. She is one of the most caring people that I know. And she's had such a huge impact on every one of her students, and I couldn't be more thankful.
And is it okay? Can I say this other hidden talent you have? Can I mention it
Okay.
or not?
Sure.
Horseback riding. What did I find out today? How long have you been riding horses and you like win competitions and stuff?
Since I was in third grade.
Are the Olympics in mind? Are you thinking about that or not?
No.
You never know.
Right.
Do you have, all right, do you have your own horse or you got to ride a lot of, this is my ignorance.
I don't. I ride different lesson horses.
Okay. Well, that's amazing. They're different talents. So you are headed for great things. We all know that. You just don't put too much pressure on yourself and have fun. Are you having fun? That's the most important thing.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, awesome. And then Ben, you don't have college plans right now, I don't think. You're a junior.
Yes, that is
What are your
correct.
plans next year? Like, what do you want to keep doing the same kind of stuff? Do you have any goals for, I mean, you're doing a great job, but is there anything you want to try or do more of your senior year?
Well, I'll probably stay with robotics and RPYO and, you know, obviously the orchestra program, but next year, I'll be applying for colleges and seeing where that goes.
How about a shout out to somebody in the district that you feel has made a really big impact on you?
I'm gonna have to say Mrs. Judge as well. I mean,
Well, she's Mrs. Judge, huh?
I mean, overall, she just has just been an absolute gift to the music program. I mean, she just makes the orchestra room like such a comfortable space, and it just makes it special.
How do you balance, how does a teacher, and we have many teachers like this, but specifically with Mrs. Judge, how does she balance having this great environment that you want to be a part of and you're not afraid to make mistakes, but at the same time, obviously the way all of you play, she has tremendously high expectations. So how is that unique that it's just kind of a balance of a safe, positive environment, but also high expectations for all of you?
I mean, yes, it is a unique balance, but I think also it helps that everybody in our orchestra also has some high expectations of themselves. So she really just helps foster that.
That's great. Thank you, Ben. And it is fantastic. They're a year around another year. All right, that's amazing. Sabrina, how are you?
I'm good.
All right, so you unfortunately are leaving us, but
Yeah.
talk to us a little bit about your plans and then give a shout out.
So I'm still applying to colleges. I won't know where I'm going until March. I'm actually working on a bunch of applications right after I leave this Zoom. But as far as that goes, I'm planning to major in mathematics and I eventually want to become a doctor. So I know that's a little bit of a weird career path, but I just really, really love math. Which also kind of brings me to the staff member that I want to shout out, Mrs. Knapp. She's been my calculus teacher last year, but I've actually known her since freshman year, since I joined math team, and she's just absolutely amazing, one of the nicest people I've ever met, and she just so passionate about math and teaching, and if you're willing to put in the work, because I took calculus BC, which is like a hard course, but if you're willing to put in the work, she's willing to help you get as far as you want to go in life.
You're still taking Calc BC, right?
No, I took it last year as a
Took
junior.
that as a junior?
Yeah.
What are you taking math now?
Unfortunately not. Victor ran out of math courses for me to take.
Are you serious?
I
You gotta
wish I
do
wasn't.
something about that, Sabrina.
Um,
Calc BC is how many juniors take Calc BC?
um, in my grade, it was actually a lot of people. Normally it's less, but I think there was 7 or 8 of us.
Okay. Well, that's good to know because we gotta we gotta figure out other ways to keep you engaged in something you love. And I'm so excited that you're gonna try mathematics in college. I think it's gonna be
Thank
great.
you.
And don't worry about the application process. Just do your best. You'll be fine.
Thank
And
you.
who knows what type of medicine you might be involved in doctor work, medical work. So I think you're gonna do fantastic. All right, thank you. Enjoy your senior year too. Tippett, what are your plans next year? Right now?
So,
Thank you.
so next year I'm committed to UB to study architecture.
Wow.
So I'm very excited about that.
Guess who's a UB alumni?
You?
Yes, the
See?
Bulls.
See? That
What
see, I mean,
spirit? Go ahead.
you know, I feel like I don't know, I feel like UB is pretty respectable place.
UB is amazing. It's so much better now than it was when I went. Holy man, it's a great. Was it a tough decision for you, or was that the one you've been looking at the last
No, I
couple
wanted
years?
to go to UB from the start, mostly because they're one of the only SUNY schools that has an architecture program.
Yeah,
Um, and it also is just, you know, it just makes so much sense. Like it's in state, it's not that far away. Um,
makes a lot of sense.
yeah,
What got
it
you
just
interested in architecture?
um I got more interested in architecture from like the more sustainable side of it, more more of like the policy decisions around design and architecture and things like that. Um, I'm taking it so I will, when I do my master's, I was going to do a master's of architecture and then a combined master's with urban planning, as
Wow,
that's something I'm also very interested in.
that's going to influence thousands and thousands and thousands of people someday. So that's a
Yes.
great. And then give a shout out to somebody.
So I'd like to give a shout out to Mr. Coughlin because I think that he really allows his students to just run wild with their creativity, especially in his journalism class. Um, I honestly think that he has set so many students at Victor on a course towards like journalism or um, like video production, stuff like that. I believe he has created so much passion for that. Um, Last year, when I was in his journalism class, I actually created a video on the architectural history of Victor schools.
Really?
So, yes,
I'd love to
and
watch it. You still have it?
yeah, I mean it's still up there. It's
All right.
it's a long watch.
It's okay. I'd love to see at least some of it. He's got that?
Yeah, it's up on the Victor Voice YouTube channel, but I don't know, it's just stuff like that where he just really like allows you to do whatever you're interested in.
That's great. Great shout out. And I think this really speaks to all five of you. You have multi-talents that are, you're not afraid to try different things. You're involved in lots of stuff. You're leaders, in whether it's in a president or vice president of student council or in your own way without being having a title. But I love the fact that you're not afraid of anything in terms of just trying it, working through it, seeing if it's something that you like, and then ultimately being a great role model for others to try things. So I'm really impressed with you, all of you. I know this is a very busy time for you. I wanted to just thank you for being on the town hall. And wish everybody out there an amazing holiday. You know, you get 2 weeks off starting Monday, so I think you need that. So those of you that are applying to colleges and getting ready for that, just take it easy. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Do your best and enjoy the break. Okay. Thank you, everybody. And
Thank you so much for
Thank
having us.
you.
you're welcome.
Thank
Have a great
you.
holiday, everybody. Take care. Thank you.